What if a small, overlooked component like a fastener could save millions in maintenance costs, improve safety, and even become intelligent enough to communicate in real time? Welcome to Industry Ignited. I'm Dr. Leanne Aguilar, and today I'm joined by Damien Marc, CEO of JPB System, a global aerospace innovator transforming mechanical systems into smart, connected solutions. Damien, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Leanne.
You got it. So you took over your family business with a bold vision and $1 million loan to repay. What was going through your mind in those early days?
Wow, honestly, I was a bit scared. My father has set up this business a few years ago. He got sick and passed away. And before that, we had a discussion, and he asked me to do a promise to him to take care of my father, take the reins of my mother, I take the reins of the company, and take care of my sister. So that was like really a family goal that I had first. So I took the reign. I was scary when you took over, from a company that is just three people. You had a loan on your shoulder of €1 million. That's a big things. But I was dreaming big, and I told myself, if I failed, at least I tried.
Yeah. Wow. So were you already involved in the business before you took over?
Now, really, a few months ago, I was a young engineer in the computer skills and electronic skills. So I was really far from this business. My father was set up in this with his boss at the time. JPB means Jean-Pierre, my father, and Bernard, his boss. And my father passed away, and I had to buy the shares of Bernard to continue the story of my father. So this is really the beginning. I make it short, but it can be a full podcast on this one because it took 3 years, this process of fighting to get.
Okay.
To
Oh,
get
wow. All right. Just the transition to take over the business and continue his legacy.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, you traveled globally to introduce a completely new technology into a conservative aerospace industry. What did that journey teach you about resilience and conviction?
Well, you're right. Aerospace is a very conservative industry. People do not change things easily in their aerospace, and it's a good thing, to be honest, for the security. So I travel the US and the whole world because, the engine maker, there are a few of them. Safran was the French guy, but GE and Pratt and Whitney was in US, Rolls-Royce was in UK. So I travel everywhere in Europe, in Asia, knocking the door with my backpack. Many people said no to me at first. Some did not even open the door. But I believed in our product. I knew that the patients in the aerospace, nobody take risk without, clear data and experience and legacy. That was my difficulty. But I sent email, I opened the door, and it finished by working because today, we are working with all the engine makers, Safran, Pratt, GE, Rolls-Royce. They are all our tier one customer. So resilience and perseverance is one of my key. And you have to dream big, as you said, and be resilient in this business.
Yeah. Now, like you said, your father built the foundation of JPB, and then you scaled it from a small company to over 200 people. And you mentioned it was just 3 people to begin with?
Yeah, that was 3 people, including me.
Yeah. So how did your leadership evolve during that transformation? How did that happen?
I learned while I was working here. My father was an inventor. Very technical guy. I learned a lot from him. But scaling, a company is very different from just inventing a product. Inventing is probably the biggest part and the most complicated. But at 3 people, to be honest, you do everything yourself. You pack the things, you answer the phone, you travel, you do almost everything. At 50 people, you need to structure a bit. And at 200, like this is today, we are more than 200 people. You need a strong team with you. You need a clear vision. I had to learn a lot about delegation, to trust the people also, and to let go of control, which was difficult to me because I was dreaming JPB. I was sleeping. When I was not sleeping, I was thinking about that. So the hardest part probably was to changing my mindset. I had to become more a leader than a doer. And this is what, part of my journey. So today I spend more time on the strategy, on people, on vision, and less time on workshop and machines, to be honest.
Right. So it's really an evolution you've gone through. Like you said at the beginning, you're doing most of it. You're doing like pretty much everything if it's a team of 3 people, and that evolved along the way. And you've said like building the right team was one of the hardest challenges. What did you learn about hiring, culture, and making tough leadership decisions during that time?
I had success. I made mistakes. I hired people who were very sometimes good technically, but that did not share the values of our company. I hired my best friend also at the time, which is not anymore longer with us in the company. We are not talking too much to each other right now. So, those part of the mistake, but I do really appreciate what we have done together. That was a real part of the foundation of the company. Now I'm looking for people more in the attitude first and skill second. Okay. This is what I try to do because the attitude is very important when you build a team. So I look for people which are curious. We want to learn. Today we have the AI to help us to become better, to augmentate ourselves. We are not afraid to do new things because this is really the GPB things, to do new things all the time. And I think culture is everything.
Yeah. So it's really mindset you're looking for, and it's that, looking for the right people. Tell me more about that. Why is it more important to have that attitude and that mindset of growth than having the skill set?
We built this team with a DNA, with a culture. That was the one of my father, and that was the one of the 5 first people and the 10th. We were really pioneers inventing disruption mechanical devices, fasteners, implementing that on the customer, which were highly demanding. Aerospace is a very, very tough business to enter. So, the pressure is high, and I don't know how to explain, but one of the most value of my company is the quality of my team. And I need to have this feeling that my team is pushing me and I pull them, to be honest, to be also the best. And if you just enter into this team, one wrong guy, you will really create a big pollution everywhere. And this is my experience. So attitude, respect of the history and the goal and the vision is a key for me, really.
Yeah. No, and I've experienced that too. I think you're so right. One person, they say one rotten apple can spoil the bunch. Is that something that you knew going into business, or is that something you discovered along the way?
Discovered, and I still make some mistake, and we have a saying here. I think it's not saying from JPB, but this is really true. We say that when there is a doubt, there is no doubt, right? And this is true that most of the time when we have a doubt about a candidate at the really beginning of the journey together, most of the time, the end of the story is not good. And sometimes you discover that like 6 months, 1 year after that. And as you know, we are in France. In US, I know it's not the same. In US, you can hire and fire people quite easily. There is a kind of liquidity of the people in the market. In France, there is some strong rules of retention of the people. So you kind of get married with the people when you welcome them in your company. It's very hard to fire them without good reason.
So they say slow to hire and quick to fire, but there in France, you have to be very slow to hire because it's slow to fire as well. I'm hearing.
Correct. And at the end, it's not good for the employee. I think that's my point of view.
Yeah. Now, JPB started with a simple but powerful idea, eliminating lock wires with self-locking fasteners. What made this such a breakthrough for aerospace maintenance?
Well, to explain it simply, in an aircraft engine, there is hundreds of fasteners of nut bolts, and they are very critical. And most of the time, the engine is vibrating when it's running. There is thermal dilatation. There is a lot of reason that can create those fasteners to get disassembled, to get loose or disconnect some connection. And that's very dangerous. So to avoid that, most of the time we use what is called a lock wire. So a lock wire, really, basically, this is a piece of wire that you twist in the fasteners and in a fixed part of the engine to make sure that the connection will not get loose. This is a piece of metal wire. And this is used for years and years and years and decades. But this is very dangerous because this is long to apply. You can forget to put it, and then you are on risk. And the business of the airlines changed drastically. They were going to pay by hours, more than paying for an aircraft and engines. So the strategy changed totally because they were looking for solution for short maintenance to make the aircraft fly, the maximum time in a day. And And this is where came those first reflection about having self-locking fasteners. That means removing this locking wire and having something that is automatically locked and automatically unlocked when you want to make it. So this is basically a matter of time saving in maintenance. We save like sometime 1 hour per maintenance operation and per connections. So that means it can be several hours. So that millions, at the end for the airlines. And this is how we started with our business. So we are equipping the areas that are quite often assembled and disassembled for maintenance operation.
Mm-hmm. So it's a huge time saver overall and over the lifetime of the aircraft is what I'm hearing. Yes. So a small part with huge implications. Today, your products go far beyond mechanical solutions into smart sensor-enabled systems. How are you transforming passive components into intelligent assets?
The idea comes from two sides. First, I was saying to myself, well, we are doing smart products, mechanical smart product already, how to make them smarter. And in another way, I went to a big customer making helicopters that was playing with most of my product and told me, Damien, this is great, but I have no need right now for one of your products. My pain right now is I want to know in real time the tension in the assembly of few bolts on my helicopter. Because I have to check the tension and the torque of those bolts every 500 hours of flying. That's very costly. This operation, you have to stop the helicopter for more than 1.5 days to do this operation. So if you can give me a technology that will tell me in real time if this is connected without doing any maintenance phase, yeah, it will be great. And this is how we decided to implement in our fasteners some sensors and some protocol of communication. And this is how BallTrack was born pretty recently. So this is a smart fastener monitoring system. And this is a big success. So right now we are qualifying this technology with the helicopter business, but also with all the amusement park section. I was amazed to see that there is a big demand in the amusement park. Okay, all the roller coaster. Here you have a lot of bolts that are, here for the security of the passenger, and that needs to be checked pretty often. And here also we supply our technology of BallTrack, which is doing lifetime monitoring of tension of any bolts.
Interesting. And so is that a vertical that you were already in before? I mean, the amusement park rides, or is this something new that you're entering?
It's new both sides. It's new. The technology, we were doing only mechanical things from my father legacy. As I told you, I was a student in electronics and computer skills, so I knew that the technology can bring some additional stuff to product, but I didn't know how to introduce it. So the opportunity came with these BallTrack things. So today we have electronical guys, we have IT guys here in the company that were not here few years and few months ago. So this is a new vertical in terms of research and development at JPB, and it's opened new doors and new verticals with the amusement park all over the world, because I'm amazed to discover, how many amusement parks there is all over the world and how, safety is important for them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And pretty quickly, when you talk about amusement park, you go to the ski lift, and all those installation in the mountain that can also be equipped. We are talking with oil platforms also that are very demanding in terms of security. And now we are talking about some mix about our self-locking product on one end and our connected product for some other application. Very interesting.
Exciting, right? Lots of opportunity I'm hearing. Now, you've invested heavily in Industry 4.0, like you mentioned, from robotics to your proprietary MES and IoT systems. How has data visibility reshaped your operations and decision-making?
Well, it changed a lot. So maybe, your question is going quick on these data things, but as I told you, we were 3 people at the beginning. So we were not having any machine. After selling, all those products at Safran, GE, Pratt, we started to get some business and more business. We were subcontracted most of our business. And I decided to incorporate every operations in my company one by one. Okay. So we started with assembly, welding, painting, then machining. And now we do a lot of more, basic operations. So And putting in place a machining workshop in France in 2018 was a challenge because, everybody was moving outside of France in the low cost or best cost countries. And I was doing the opposite way. I was building an industrial site from there. And I understood quickly that the people to run my workshop was not anymore at school. There is no more school for CNC manufacturer in French. So I realized quickly that I had some difficulties to hire people. So I invested heavily in robots to compensate the lack of people at the time. And I invested a lot in 4.0 industry to be data driven and be able to control my workshop from all over the world. Okay. So I really basically connected all my machines together. My CNC machines, my CMM machines doing the inspection were connected, talking to computers, IT, and all the data were centered in a database. And I was able to, look on my data, look on my workshop in real time from all over the world. So that was this app was built in 2017. So I introduced at the time the first IT guys to do the first line of code in JPB in 2017. And we will talk probably more about the data in the podcast later, but it's very, very, very important. So from those data, we build our own MES system because nothing was on the market. And we also use a lot of robotics to have more precise and reproductive capacity. And the result right now is really a better quality, less waste in our workshop, and faster delivery to our customer. And it will be a good introduction to 𝐃𝐚𝐦. I think that is probably one of your question. And I will explain you how all these 4.0 things drove me to think about a new vertical.
No, that's awesome. But that's so interesting that your main issue was not having the skilled people. And so you brought robotics in to fill that gap of the technical people, I guess, weren't there. You were saying that here we kind of have the opposite problem where we have the skilled people and they're afraid of the robots coming in to replace them. But I'm hearing that you introduced the robots because the people weren't there.
Yeah, in our case, that was that. And I can tell you that every robot that I put in place, I hired 8 people, around.
Interesting.
To do the other stuff. So robots for us didn't kill any job.
Any jobs. They actually introduced jobs. That's really cool. So one of your innovations has been described as the Shazam of manufacturing, using vibration data to monitor machines. What does this mean for the future of industrial productivity and efficiency?
I set up my machining very connected from scratch, screen everywhere. You can follow in real time what is going on. And in 2017, I opened the doors of my factory to any people that wanted to visit it. So I welcomed a lot of CEOs from all over the world, including Safran, including Boeing. The CEO of Boeing came to visit. The CEO of 𝐃𝐚𝐦𝐢𝐞𝐧 came and visited my company, and they were amazed. Probably today, we are 10 years after. It's more and more common to see such kind of modern workshop, even if we don't see so much of them. But 10 years ago, it was amazing. So, and at the end of the visit, almost all my people, all my friends and all my CEO was like having stars in the eyes and wanted to have the same. They said, Damien, how can I do? I want to have the same, but I don't know how to start. I don't know how to start because I don't understand the IT. I don't understand these 4.0 things. So I decided to create a startup that will help them to digitalize their workshop in a very easy way. And my way was quite complicated because I definitively open all the machines, connect all the wires to the machines. All the machines have a different language of communication depending, on the PLC inside. So I discovered it was a very complex world. And finally, looking at my workshop, I found that all the machines have the same language of communication. You just have to hear them. So Shazam, okay? So you put your phone near the music and it tells you the song. So for 𝐃𝐚𝐦, it works the same. Same way, but with the machines, production machines, we just put a small sensor on the machine, just a magnet, no wires, no installation. And these things listens the vibration of the machine, and our software with artificial intelligence, machine learning inside tells you in a minute if the machine is running or not, producing or not, how many parts you produce per minute. It will give you the cycle time, if the machine is stopped, if you have any problem, and it just takes 5 minutes to install.
Right.
No IT, nothing, just Wi-Fi connection. And this is 𝐃𝐚𝐬, and this is an idea that I founded in a few years ago, and now it's a full startup with 25 people inside, and we are selling mainly in Europe now, and we are starting the sales in US this year.
Okay, so it's a completely different business. It's separate from JPB?
It's inside JPB as a pure other vertical with a lot of tech guys. So it's really a startup. So we have a CTO, a CPO with a product. The product design is very, very important in this startup. We have 15 developers, front, back developers. We have DevOps. The whole infrastructure is based on Amazon Web Services. We are designing our own IoTs. So we have the electronician people there. The assembly of the IoTs is made in France with my team that is doing the assembly of the other stuff, the fasteners. So now we assembled also these electronic fields. So we do everything, the production. And so this is part of JPB as a kind of startup.
Okay, fascinating. And so is there competition in this area that you've identified, or?
Yes, there is few, but nothing as far as I know that is as disruptive as 𝐃𝐚𝐬. Really, 𝐃𝐚𝐬 is the Shazam. Yeah, you just magnet it. It will listen the music of the machine and understand in a minute what is going on. So this is the beauty of it. You don't have to stop your workshop. You just magnet it on your machine and you get your first result 10 minutes later. You can start to monitoring your stuff. And the savings are massive, It's finally a business that is pretty close to the fastener business because we are saving, in average, 10 to 15% of productivity to our customer. That means that if you have a small workshop of 10 machines, you install 𝐃𝐚𝐬, and in a matter of 1 month, you have the equivalent of 11 machines. You save one. Yeah. You save one machine for free almost, because 𝐃𝐚𝐬, we sell it as a SaaS business. So it's very cost effective. It's a subscription. You pay for a month. If you don't like it, you just stop to pay for a month. And so there is no risk, and the savings are huge.
Right. And it sounds like, it goes well beyond aerospace too. Your potential customer base is.
Yes, we started from the aerospace because I had a lot of friends in this field, but today we are almost everywhere in the automotive, in the food business. We have a customer that is doing the watch. We have some luxurious brands in our portfolio also, and some big industrial people that are doing, many industries, aerospace, automotive, some big names. So we are at the level of scaling 𝐃𝐚𝐬 right now. So that means most of those customers have installed small batches of our IoTs right now. So we started by 5, now maybe it's 40 in average. And for some of the customer, we have potential to deploy like 500 of them in the workshop. And we are entering this phase right now, which is very, very challenging and very interesting. And this is a totally new business from the industry to the tech industry. That's totally different, 2 ways of thinking, but it's very complementary. And I think there is a lot of things that the tech can bring to the industry and a lot of things that the industry can bring to the tech.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Right. Very complementary, like you said, and mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
So Damien, after COVID disrupted aerospace, you made a bold decision to accelerate rather than pause. What strategic moves allowed you to come out stronger in the process?
Well, when the COVID hit, everyone in the aerospace stopped almost everything. The orders dropped drastically. We have lost 40% of our businesses during the COVID, and we were expecting to do plus 30 at the time, and we did minus 40. So that was a huge shock. Most of the company reduced their teams, the headcount. We decided to do the opposite. When it comes about the football, I'm not a big fan, but we call that the mercato. We did our mercato. We kept all of our people in France and in Poland. In Poland, that was no specific grant from the country to keep our employees. So I decided to pay them doing nothing for months. And they clearly remember that today, and I'm very happy about it. We invested heavily in a new factory. So I built a 10,000 square feet factory. Sorry for the unit in US, but this is big. This is 4 times bigger than the factory that we have now. We have also started to build a new factory in Poland, twice times bigger than the factory that we had in France at the time. We invested 30 million of euro at the time of the COVID to accelerate all of development. we accelerated and created the development of 𝐃𝐚𝐬 that I just talked about, these IoT things. Okay. And why? Because I knew the industry, the aerospace will come back. I was sure. But to be honest, it's easy to say that now. But at the time when you open the newspaper, industry was dead. Aerospace was dead forever because, that was a new way of thinking, the green stuff, and nobody wants to fly again. That was, I thought it was a mistake, and I decided to invest a lot. And I said to myself, when all those things will come back, we will be ready. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we had the people, the technology, the capacity, while the others were rebuilding. We were already delivering at this moment. So that decision to invest during this crisis was probably one of the best decisions I ever made.
Right. Yeah. So you took that huge risk and you saw the potential. You knew that it would come back, but you made that counterintuitive decision to invest instead of pull back. And they often say that. I mean, you want to invest when the markets are down, right? But that's when fear sets in. And so that's when most people are doing the opposite because they follow their gut and their instinct, which is fear. However, you overrode that fear. You went beyond that.
You describe it very well, because again, it's easy to say now, and people can say, wow, that's a nice storytelling. But no, basically, you don't sleep for weeks because you don't know how many times, this will take, maybe 12 months, maybe 18 months. Finally, it was more. And you start to, count how many cash you have to stay alive at this moment. And it's a lot of fears that you need to fight. So, it's done, well done. And I'm very happy about it.
Now you've expanded into sectors like helicopters, defense, rockets, and even smart infrastructure. How do you evaluate which markets to enter next?
I will say that there is at least, two questions, or let's say three questions. Maybe the first is, does the market need high reliability? That's, I think, very important because our products are designed for extreme conditions. If reliability is critical, then we can help. The second question we ask ourselves is the market big enough, to justify an investment? That's important because sometimes there is some really clever, application, but there is no market, and we have to say no. Sometimes it's difficult. But the third question we ask to ourselves is, can we bring real value, and not be just another product? And I think, this is with these three criteria that we are evaluating how to expand our business. And today we decided to go, into defense, into energy, into amusement park for some, and few, other sectors.
Yeah, a lot of things to look at and a lot of opportunity is what I'm hearing too, especially as you're developing new whole product lines.
Yes, there is so many. There is with our current customer, because, we didn't have time to talk about that, but we are delivering on time our product. We are 100% on time, zero defect of quality. Nowadays, it's very rare to find, such a level of delivery. So our current customer, they want to do more with us. They like us. They say, we want to develop, we want to grow JPB. And again, sometimes we have to say no because we want to diversify. We don't want to be too dependent to, one specific customer or one program. So this is it. And as we evolve, we are becoming more and more visible, and this bring, some new opportunities. And as with the new product that I explained before, it opens a lot of new doors. So now it's a matter of scale.
Right. So your fasteners are the ones you're talking about with the zero defects and being able to guarantee that quality and then support it with the software applications that can monitor it and ensure that reliability.
Yeah.
Now, with recent investment from Ardian, you're preparing for significant growth, including potential acquisitions. What does the next phase look like for JPB?
Well, we will see. I will not, describe all the business plan, but Ardian joined us in 2025. So Ardian, I don't know if your auditors knows Ardian, but this is the number one probably fund in Europe, 200 billion euro of assets. Managed. So they enter as a minority investors in JPB. So this is a big first step for us. This is new. I was 100% the owner of my company. I was the sole owner a few months ago. That's a big change for me. A quite important step that I decided. Okay, so it's not something that I have to live with. This is something I decided and I actively, and I'm very happy about the first months of collaboration with Ardian. They bring to us a lot of experience in scaling industrial companies abroad in many countries. So they bring us the best method of management of the company, of reporting, of KPIs. It sounds basic, but when you grow fast, sometimes you forget about the basics. And today, so we are much more better in terms of reporting, management, communication, transparency, and everything. I appreciate that. The next phase is quite clear. We want to grow faster internationally. Again, we already make a lot internationally because more than 90% of our business is made outside of France. But we want to be probably closer to a customer. Once we are looking for potential acquisition, not for sure, but why not? We are looking for acquisition. Probably before that, we need to scale a little bit the team and structure the team to be ready for that. And we can look for company that can be, a complement to our technology or to open new markets. And we will continue to invest heavily in 𝐃𝐚𝐦, in BoldTrack, or digital solutions. So the goal with Ardian is to become the global leader in smart fastening and industrial monitoring.
Okay. And you said this was a strategic move. It's something that you sought out and carefully considered.
That was the perfect moment for me. Drive a lot of interest for me. First, after 20 years of big investment, that was for me an occasion to do a cash out first, to transform a bit of my journey in cash, just for me, my family, just make everybody secure. And that's very important to feel secure at one point of this journey, just to be able to sleep, a little bit and relax. That was number one. The number two was this capacity to help us to grow, structure, and build the plan and challenge, our strategy, the reporting things. And also my team, my closest team, my team of directors will become shareholders also of the nature. So they will not only work for a salary, but also to share the result of our global strategy in the next 5-7 years.
Yeah, so they'll have a stake, in the game as well.
So that's a great alignment between all the parties.
Yeah. That makes sense. Now, you mentioned the importance of balancing opportunity with discipline. How do you decide when to say no to growth in order to scale sustainably?
Yeah, but that's probably, as I said before, one of the hardest parts of being, a leader or CEO, because it is the opportunities, they come every week, almost every day. A new market here, a new customer, a new potential, a new idea. Sometimes when somebody see 𝐃𝐚𝐦, this Shazam things. I have a great idea for your 𝐃𝐚𝐦. Maybe you can set up it on my machines, that are working in the mud here on the mine, on the mining stuff. And first you say, oh yes, that's great. And you go there, but you just lose your focus, so you have to stay strong on your vertical. Right. And sometimes you just have to understand you cannot do anything. Everything, you cannot do it. So you have to say no sometimes. Right. So I learned about to saying no in some time. And this is probably for the best decision. So we say no when it does not fit with our strategy. We say no when we do not have the right team for it. Sometimes it's just a matter of, sorry, I don't have the capacity to do it. I like the idea, but I don't have the team. We say no when, it will put too much pressure on quality, for example, because in aerospace, if you lose quality, you lose everything. So growth must be controlled, and speed is good, but not at the cost of the reliability. So This is how I learned to say no.
Yeah, staying focused, clear to your mission, and having your priorities straight is what I'm hearing too. Because every time you say yes to one thing, you're automatically saying no to something else because of capacity, because of the things you mentioned, right?
I used to say yes to everything, at the beginning. I was a yes man. I was not. So I learned by experience that sometimes you need to say no.
Yeah, no, I like that. Now you bridge two worlds, advanced manufacturing and cutting edge tech. Where do you see the biggest gap, and how can companies close it?
the biggest gap is between the factory floor and the digital world. There is a big gap there. Many companies, have the old machines, the old processes, the old software, no data or very siloed data that you cannot access. They know they need to change, but they don't know how to do, where to start. This is basically what I hear all the time. My advice here to them is start small. Just start by something. 𝐃𝐚𝐬𝐿 was an answer to that. Just start with 𝐃𝐚𝐬𝐿. It will change your mind. I think when you start small, when you start with experience, then you create traction in your company. You say, okay, I understand what can bring the data. I understand what can bring the AI. And this is my recommendation. Yeah. Do this on the small scale, then take the next machine and try to do it and expand it. This is exactly what 𝐃𝐚𝐬𝐿 does. It makes Industry 4.0 accessible to everyone, even the small factories. No big IT project, just start. It's very cheap. Learn and grow. That's it.
So as manufacturing becomes more digital and connected, what capabilities do you think will define the next generation of industrial leaders?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's a difficult one. I will say again 2 things or 3 probably. The first is for the next generation of industrial leader will be the ability to use the data. Definitively, it's not just about collecting it, but how to use it and make this decision with them. I think it's very, very important and key in the industry right now.
Right.
The second probably will be the speed. The speed. The companies today, they have to adapt very, very fast. And the ones that are able to adapt very fast will win, I think. We were talking about the COVID. We were talking before we start this interview about the situation with the war and everything. Come on, let's look about the world. There is no stability anymore. And we have to change. We have to adapt ourselves. We have to understand how it works pretty fast. And the technology is moving so fast. Look, the AI. Okay, the AI, we are all working with ChatGPT and so on for the last 2 years. But now I'm experiencing, the cloud co-work and the cloud code and everything. It's a game changer. In a matter of weeks and months, It's a new revolution. And we need to embrace this revolution. We need to understand it. We need to grow, because the ones that will make it, the ones that will understand it, have the understanding of the data, the speed, will go very fast in this new world.
Yeah.
So this is my beliefs. And just to not be the tech guy, I think that you were talking about the next generation of leader. I think the third probably point will be the people. Okay, because we talk a lot about technology, but the people. Technology is important, but the people makes really the difference, as I said at the beginning. So the next generation of leader will need to understand both manufacturing and technology. They will need to speak the language of the engineer, the language of the software developers. I think the next factory will be all about software more than machining. And to be honest, this is rare today. But
Right.
It will be essential tomorrow.
No, I'm hearing that though. So it's like you have to be very comfortable with change and just be willing to embrace change, because change is going to happen. So it's like not expecting things to stay the same, not depending on stability, like you were saying, but being very willing to be agile and because, like you said, speed too. It's about being able to pivot quickly.
Yeah, pace, speed, all those words are really the key right now. And I'm quite worried, because the world of the industry is moving slow. The people that runs those factories most of the time are getting older, and they don't, look at the technology on the good side. So yeah, the next generation, it will be the tough things. But the good side of it is that there is so much things to do in this industry. So that's the big message for the young generation. Go and do some real things. Industry is about doing real things.
Yeah, lots of opportunity. Yeah. So final question, Damien, you've said success starts with dreaming big, but execution is everything. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs building in complex and industrial sectors?
I don't know who I am to give, advice, but I will say dream big, but start now. What I want to say is that I've met a lot of people reading all the books about how to become the best entrepreneur, doing a lot about, personal improvement and stuff, but never took the opportunity to start to do something. They were always waiting the perfect moment. So, and this moments sometime never exist, right? So yeah, dream big, but start now. This is my best advice. And I start, as you said, with the 3 people and the big loan on my shoulder. Today, we are 200 people and we are expecting to doubling the size of the company in the next 5 years. We are working with the biggest name in the industry of the aerospace. So yeah, my advice is, first believe in your product. If you do not believe, nobody will, I have to be honest. And second, just be patient in the industrial sectors, the things that take times.
Yeah.
Take time. So be patient, certification, test, approval. That's all about it. It can take years. So yeah, patience. But once you are in for a long time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At least industry. If you are delivering on time on the quality, you are here for a long time.
Yeah. So taking action, but then fully committing is what I'm hearing too. Just dive in all the way, make sure that you're in it for the long haul, because there are lots of ups and downs, on the journey.
Exactly. And make sure you build a team, of people who share your passion. You cannot do it alone. So the team is everything.
Great advice. I love that. Well, Damien, thank you for joining me. How can listeners learn more about you and JPB?
Yeah, you can just connect with me on LinkedIn, Damien Marc. You can also visit the website, JPB System and 𝐃𝐚𝐬𝐿, and Bolt Track for connecting bolts. And yeah, I'm here on LinkedIn. If you want to poke me, send me a message, I will be happy to answer.
Great. Well, thank you again. And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in to Industry Ignited. Be sure to subscribe and join us for the next episode. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep igniting industry.